Hello and welcome back to another episode with your boy Ohms and my guy Sprigsy. Today we're going to be talking about the Newcastle takeover.
Yeah, this one's been dwelling about for a couple of months now.
For sure.
What do you initially think about that amount of money coming into just football in general?
I mean, to be honest, off the bat, you could already think of what we've already seen in our lives. We've seen Chelsea and Man City when they've had such a financial takeover. Look what they've become now. This can only put Newcastle fans in particular really excited because they're going to imagine themselves having this opportunity if it goes through. I mean, this guy, he's the Saudi prince. He's worth like 260 billion.
He's worth a stupid amount of money. Like, why do you think people get frustrated about Newcastle getting taken over in general? Why are people annoyed?
Well, to be honest, me already being a fan of the Premier League, seeing Liverpool now reach the heights they have, just allow it, man. If another team is able to get money and able to make themselves strong, it's going to mean even more teams making it even more competitive. Yes, football as a football fan is definitely something I want to see because you want to beat the best and all that stuff, but you just feel like, God, I mean, you look at other leagues.
It's sort of just given, isn't it?
Exactly.
But like, I think what I was hating is the same reason with Man United in the early 2000s to 10s. They're winning everything.
Yeah.
Everyone hated them because they were jealous and they're winning everything. Now it's when you see it with Liverpool. Everyone hates Liverpool because they win a lot. And then when someone gets given that amount of money, so basically a cheat code.
Yeah, pretty
all the way to the top. People don't like
GTA.
that. That's literally like a GTA cheat code. But it's like they basically, if they get this done, it is a cheat code. Like
for sure, but I mean, the money coming in, they are unlucky, and it's become more of a fair aspect in football for where we stand point now with financial fair play. Because of financial fair play, Newcastle, they have a fairly big stadium, so they can increase the revenue and they can start getting more towards the likes of Man City, but they won't be able just to splash out the cash right at the start because they're just going to get transfer bans.
See, that's where I disagree. I think they'll be easier to spend the cash and get players in because basically what's happened is the same with Man City and like say Wolves are rich, right?
Yeah, Wolves are one of the wealthiest teams in the Prem.
They didn't have publicity all over their takeover bid. As the same as City and the same in Newcastle, they've had a massive publicity agenda in basically in the papers. So people have seen this coming. So basically players will see this and be like, oh, okay, I can make money with them. So it's a bit like Man City where they made it so public that players would, and PSG, we can add that one, as players will just want to come to them because they know they'll pay their way. So it's a bit of a head start.
And then what? And then just take it on the chin if they do end up getting a rule violation.
Obviously,
for a season or two.
Don't break the rules. Do you know what I mean? Newcastle make a lot of money anyway, which people forget. It's like the Premier League makes a ton of money anyway.
They do, but
and they
in the
are
Premier League,
like a mad fan base.
But this is the thing, in the Premier League,
and they get a lot of TV time as well.
That's what I was about to say. Like in the Premier League, it boils down to broadcasting that is making the most revenue for these teams.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you get a lot of money for like winning titles and Champions League and so on and so forth, but the real money right now is in broadcasting. And that's why you always constantly see the big names and the big teams in there. Newcastle with this money, I'm not sure whether it will push them in quickly, as quick as they expect it to be.
With their current team now, which three signs would you add into that? in a realistic world.
I mean, the team itself...
And realistic with this money that they get as well.
Look, Newcastle, I rate Newcastle, I always have. Like, to be honest, it's one of those teams that on FIFA I always end up picking as a career mode because it's one of those teams that you can just build and
drag them from the dirt.
Exactly, like they're not like the lowest of the lows, and they've got potential, and they always have. Since getting rid of like Rafa Benitez and stuff, it wasn't the right choice. Selling their best players, they had to in the event because of where they are in the position. I mean, Jose Perez was more than worth his weight in going to a team like Leicester City and building on. So for Newcastle,
although
I
don't think Leicester are much bigger than Newcastle.
They might not have the fan base
like Newcastle.
Like Newcastle do,
if you win it, if you're going to tell me like if Newcastle win a league title, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's the weirdest thing in the world. That's Leicester's. What's, do you know what I mean? So instead, aspects of an actual club, they're bigger. They're a lot bigger than Leicester, I think.
In a foothold, in a standpoint, yes, but
Obviously, they have that Premier League now, so that makes them boost them up a lot.
exactly. But like the talent that they have. Leicester have now got a squad. That's what the thing is. Like you've asked me what 3 players I'd sign for Newcastle, but the squad as a whole just isn't good enough even to compete with the mid-table teams right now. So like to add 3 players, I mean yes, you could say if they've got this money that if it comes through and they get this financial takeover, you can look at like the likes of Cavani and Bale and so on and so forth. But those kind of players are not going to go to Newcastle.
I think a realistic one, it sounds
Not now,
mad, is Philip Coutinho.
See
With that
Coutinho,
money, and he's just going. I'm not saying he's going down and down, but just teams just don't seem to want to keep him right now.
Exactly.
So for a place to, because if Newcastle gets money and they buy the right players, they'll whack straight into that top 4. I don't care what anyone says. Like they do it right.
They need Coutinho is not a bad shout, but then for me, Coutinho, I mean, why would you not go to Arsenal? Arsenal need a player like him.
It's if Arsenal even want him.
Exactly, that's true as well.
But with
It's
money
very key.
talks, mate. Like,
Oh
do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. I
So,
mean, he could end up getting paid like what 250,000 a week.
bloody bring Oscar back. Bring Oscar back to Premier League.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean he's still doing fuck all in China, but I don't know. For me, it's just like they can sign 3 players. All right, they've got who have they got? I mean they've got Dwight Gale, Joe Linton. They haven't got a striker. They need a striker.
Joe
so you need to
Linton.
get
Joe
in.
Linton has a lot of potential. Just sometimes if you do this,
he
if
don't have potential.
he
man.
did have potential. But if you go to clubs like this, it's either make or break. If you're not good, you just sink lower and lower.
Yeah,
But that's just what happens.
yeah, that's
Same with
definitely
Wesley
true.
at Villa. Has a lot of potential. But if you don't crack on straight away in this league, you'll be just chewed up.
100%. So saying that, like, it's easy enough to say players, and it's easy enough to say you want players like this. So if I'm gonna go for players, someone like Newcastle, where they're looking to push back in, I'm looking for firstly a goal scorer, but obviously someone more the lines of like a prime Jermaine Defoe. I feel like a player like that would be someone that would make that team better and be able to push them further to then get the world class players. They're not going to just get the world class players now. And if you're going to buy players,
But then
like,
City
say,
got
Coutinho,
no.
yeah, and look what happened. Once they got Robinho, they were able to attract other
Yeah.
players.
Big players.
And that's the thing. I don't think if they buy,
They need a
Well,
money. They need a
beater.
money greeter. They
That's-
need a money man.
yeah, but then if they buy like a world class, not a world class player, but say a player that has a lot of talent but starting to fade or isn't
Get
performing
Luis
as
Suarez
well.
in.
I mean, yeah, Luis
Not
Suarez.
the weirdest thing you'd see, but
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't. There's always this talk. Like obviously, like I said previously, Cavani. Cavani is on a free transfer lady now. Like he's on the free agency market,
Yeah.
so he's definitely someone who Newcastle could bring in because of his age. That's primarily why they could bring Cavani in if they give him the right source and what do you call it? Like the right players around him. Like Miguel Almiron, I rate him. He's a very talented player. So Almiron is someone that you can base in that midfield of that Newcastle team to build around.
I just don't rate him. I don't
Really?
know what it is. I just don't rate him at all.
Like I know he's been a slow starter, but he's been showing glimpses so far in the Prem of what he can do. And me myself, I never knew who the guy was. So I did try to do my little bit of research and looked at what some videos he had in the MLS. Yes, the MLS isn't on anywhere near the level of even the Championship, but like he shows this ability, like which he can
Let's
produce.
have another question. What happens if Newcastle get relegated?
To be honest,
does this takeover happen? I know it's quite
you're
rare
right.
that they
Yeah,
will
no.
they'll get relegated, but does this takeover still happen if they get relegated?
To be honest, I think that's exactly why it's not gone through just yet. If it's for me, I mean, I know there's all this talk of that wanker, fucking Mike Ashley.
I will say on behalf of Newcastle fans, Mike Ashley is a massive tosser.
Yeah.
On it, like
100%.
the only reason I want this to happen is for Newcastle fans because the way that they just this guy, like I just can't believe it. I've got no money to spend, buys House of Fraser. Do you know what I mean? And he just
He's the reason why a lot of
he's a
the
businessman.
outside
He's a
way-
businessman, but
yeah.
he's very good at it.
But
He's
this is
very
it.
good
This
at
is why like a lot of outside talk looking into the world of football is negative, because football, because of owners like that, is becoming more of a business rather than a sport. That's the issue with Mike Ashley. I've seen it in the past with Liverpool with
he's
Tom
just a
Hicks and
massive-
George
He's
Gillette.
just a wanker as well.
And they come in and they just look at trying to make money, but not trying to appreciate what they've bought.
Like, he's trying to say the Sports Direct was an essential shop to stay open, wasn't it?
Jesus
And left
Christ.
it open. I can't believe him. Just he has to go. But do you
Yeah.
know what's the worst thing about all of this? And I hate to say it, I don't think he'll sell it. I really do. I think he'll pull them all on strings and he'll just go, no. That's the mad thing about it.
But if he's a businessman,
Imagine how
surely
rich
there's a
they-
price
Imagine how
tag.
rich they are, right? And he hasn't sold it yet.
Yeah, but
They
surely
must
there's a
have an
price
insane amount of money on the table right now.
But this is what Mike Ashley's doing. He's seeing this guy is worth 260 billion. He's just gonna push and push and push this price tag as high as it will
The
go.
thing is, if he doesn't sell, right?
I mean, how much
What-
would you
how-
sell
what
Newcastle for? How much would you sell? How much
Well,
is
how
their
much money
current
do I
price?
have?
Well, I mean, look, Liverpool got bought for what? 300 million?
Well, let's talk. Me personally, if I was the Newcastle owner, I'd sell it.
For how
Just-
much? Like I'm saying, like Liverpool got bought for 300 million. How much do you value Newcastle at right now?
Not obviously not as much as Liverpool.
Yeah, so.
But with
say,
this
what,
going on,
150?
with this guy,
Yeah.
as a standard, yeah, I'd go 150, 200 mil.
Okay, and then include what you were speaking about earlier. If they get relegated, how much will they be worth?
Would have to go down, wouldn't it?
But they still have the fan base, the core that they have. Because look at Wolverhampton.
But it's
Wolverhampton
more. It's
got
more that
relegated.
unless they get into the playoffs, the money revenue isn't there in the Championship.
It's not there, but then this is what I'm saying. Like Wolves, they got relegated, and then these rich owners came in and bought them in the Championship and
Yeah.
brought them back up. So there is
I-
that ability to do that as well.
I just want to know how much money they put on for him to still be saying no.
I reckon he's asking for at least $500 million. I think he's actually asking for 500 million straight up, which is a ridiculous amount for, no offence to Newcastle at all, but like a club where they're positioned at right now is not worth 500 million, and that's what I feel he's asking for.
It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter where he could take over any one of these teams and just go bam straight up.
Yeah,
But they like to do it with the projects. Especially with Newcastle's fan base, this is probably the best team to do it for, I think.
what, because of Santiago?
Santiago Muniz, yeah.
What a legend.
But yeah, like with the
The definitely the opportunity to bring Newcastle back to a better team than they were is something
they haven't
I would
been
like
really
to
that
see.
strong since they were basically Keegan era, have they?
Yeah, exactly. But I
Like
mean,
Bill
it's,
with Shearer, like he got them
they're
back
just
around
dodgy,
a bit.
isn't it? Because like if we're talking about Newcastle in this aspect, like Aston Villa, one of the founding teams of football,
And look, they've struggled. They've
Done
just struggled
so
to
much.
come back so much.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're not even
Forest.
back.
Like there's
Well,
countless
something to
teams.
spit Leeds. Luckily, they're starting to head back, but they a team that good they got relegated. It just shows. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I just hope that, like, for Newcastle in particular, I just hope if this takeover goes through, it will be beneficial for them. Because there's always a chance where these owners could come in, try and splash the cash, like 200 million a transfer window, 200 million a transfer window, and it not work out, and then just decide to leave the club and sell it.
Thing is, like, I hope they get it because, like, I don't care about Newcastle, to be honest. Like, they were probably their fans are they're good fans and they don't really deserve that. They don't deserve Mike Ashley.
No, not a chance.
It's bad.
Not a
It's,
chance.
like, I can't imagine today if this doesn't go through and he doesn't sell. Like, what have they got left? What do they do?
Like, what is the point
Like,
in all
what do
this?
they actually do? They know nothing's going to get better. If this doesn't go through, they're bigger than you actually think because they're going. We've got this for a very long time now, and he passes it down to his son
100%.
or daughters, whatever, hoping that that's different.
Like they had such an opportunity when they had Rafa Benitez in, and they had a couple players around that were still decent. Jose Perez was coming through. They had such an opportunity to take that next level, but Mike Ashley chose not to give Rafa the money to be able to do what Rafa can do. It's sad to see. It's sad to see with some teams. Like there will never always be.
They've got it. Well, that I know of, they've got it the worst. I think.
I mean,
In terms of like a club at the top level,
Yeah.
I can't see it being that.
There's not many like them that have an owner that's so vocal with the media and hated by his own fans. There's nothing else like it in the Prem currently, not that I can see. So for them, hopefully it's an opportunity where they can actually get this takeover to happen. It will be beneficial to them, and I guess to the Prem as a whole, because there'll be just more teams that can compete. But me as a Liverpool fan, mate, like, they can stay where they are.
Well, yeah, I think we'll end it there. So
Yeah.
please like and subscribe, guys. Tell us what you think about the Newcastle takeover as well. And that's another episode of Sanctionate Sport. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Football is life.